I'm Damon Zell, and it's time for your Eve Echoes weekly news update. We'll be diving into all the happenings of the week, but first, if you can tag that subscribe button and ring that bell, then you can stay up to date with everything that this channel has to offer. Before we get started this week, I want to issue two clarifications from last week's episode. The first being that this 6.6 billion kill, which I said was, I believe, Nebularium, I was mistaken. This kill does belong to Catch-22. The second clarification was that I stated Dead killed Nebularium's outpost in the Great Wildlands, when in fact this outpost was just a random Corp outpost not affiliated with the Neb Alliance. As always, if I get some aspects of a story wrong, I do enjoy the clarifications pointed out to me through the comments, Reddit, and Discord, and I'll always issue those clarifications in the following episode. I also wanted to touch on the reason why my episodes always appear to be random during the week. Real life gets in the way, and my days off changes every 30 days, which is why the video schedule of when they drop changes every 30 days. You know, just in case you were wondering. Now on to the news. Okay, we had another 2-hour delayed maintenance this week that brought us some exciting new enhancements to the game, as well as some really bad bugs. Let's dive right in and see what we got: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The first thing we got was optimized audio files for the lower RAM usage. This should help people on the lower end devices play the game without dropping. Custom art assets for the winners of the Corporation Video Contest have been added. Now, the winners of the Corp Video Contest will now get to show their style with their custom art on their banners as well as their skins. I am excited to see Pandemic's of Silent Alliance as well as Sob's Wolfpack skins within the game. Enlarge the tappable area of the star map filter button for easy access. Whenever an outpost is destroyed, all assets within will be automatically transferred to a nearby non-nullsec NPC station. Alright, so whenever a pilot anchors a structure, they have to be at least 5,000 km distance from other structures to successfully anchor. The size of the corporation avatar logo has been slightly adjusted. It's no longer possible to use autopilot to enter a Capsuleer outpost if you do not have permission to access it. Did we really need that stated, though? I mean, the time needed for contract transactions auditing has been reduced. They added a daily limit for gifting contracts, value differential between the item value and ISK given of over 150%, which can be viewed in the contract interface details. Okay, now we're going to touch on this in a bit, how NetEase gives with one hand while slapping you with the other. We got an improved display of the standing tag, added notifications when buying or selling with prices that are too high or too low, fixed an issue where drones that attacked players didn't display criminal timers when relevant. I didn't even know this was a thing, to be honest. Now commodities like structured components, data cores, barrels of water, you name it, can be placed within the structure hold of industrial ships. This is good to add a bit more functionality to these structure haulers. They added a notification prompt whenever a new advanced tutorial quest is available. Improve the navigation bar on the main interface. Now it displays different colors based on the security rating of your current system. Basically, if you hadn't noticed, your autopilot bar will now be the color of the system. Green for high sec, yellow for low sec, and red for null. Now it's possible to enter a outpost with one-way standing setting. I guess that's in case you're doing a public contract. It seems in conflict with the other point they brought up. You can now share a solar system from the star map to a chat channel. A little quality of life item there. The wallet has been optimized to show market transactions, specific item names, item quantities, and order locations. Again, nice quality of life. I know I always look at my wallet and see it go up or down and forget what I bought, what I sold, so that helps. Unsent messages are now saved for the next time. unless you're jumping between systems. We all know that. Added the function of saving personal locations, corporation locations. Saving corporation locations requires a corporation location's permission to use. Basically, what we're talking about is bookmarks. Bookmarks are finally here, albeit in a limited capacity. I am happy that they're in the game, but they are different than how they work in EVE Online. Here in Echoes, you will need to set your autopilot to actually use them, whereas in EVE Online, you can just have them in your list and just warp directly to them. We get to have personal ones as well as corp ones. That's why you're going to need the permission in the corp management to give someone the power to make these corp bookmarks. I am hoping that down the road, as they expand the bookmark functionality, we will get the ability to actually share these bookmarks, the personal bookmarks, between players in specific channels. Updated the resources and tips of the free training interface. Move the login reward button to the event interface. Added additional star map statistics. Finally, a nice change to the heat maps. Instead of pods, we'll get actual ship kill spots on the star map. Accurate heat maps. And added basic bookmarks. We will add additional functionality over the course of 2 future updates within the next months. Okay, so basically the same thing as we said before. And they gave us some fixes this week. They fixed an issue where the conflict in the permission of the corporation office resulted in the inability to rent the corporation office in the corporation outpost of other corporations within the Alliance. When acquiring ancient remains using planetary interaction, they will need to be extracted within 24 hours of launch, otherwise they become unobtainable. Fixed the conflict between player name and rich text that could cause an error in shared links. They fixed a problem where some corporations could not open the Alliance interface due to the corporation outpost. Okay, let's talk about the shadow fix that they never even listed. Needless to say, they tried fixing the overspeed error, and then inadvertently buffed faction rats' resistances. These rats were harder to kill. The only caveat was that if you flew a faction ship yourself during this time, your ship was also buffed and benefited from those shadow resist buffs. They have since rolled this back, and the rats are now super speedy again. I, like many others, are asking the questions: if you're making a fix that could affect a huge part of the gameplay, why not list it in the official fix list? Why do you think you need to hide these fixes behind a curtain? Just goes to show that after every patch, all players should be extra vigilant in playing to notice these changes and take appropriate action so you don't lose your ship. Now let's talk about these changes to the contracts. Yes, the audit timers are reduced, but now we have this gift point system to deal with, which is fine if you're a tech level 8 character. This new system is called gifting contracts. It's giving something for nothing, or when your contract is 150% more than you're getting a return of equal value. You can gift these, and points are deducted from your daily point allowance, but you also get deducted points when reviewing a contract that was issued to you. Like I said earlier, if you're tech level 8+, there isn't really an issue here. You can gift 200 contracts within a 24-hour period and receive review up to 200. That being said, if your level is 7, you can only give 10 of these free contracts out, and receiving them deducts 20 points from your 200 quota. Tech levels 1 through 6 can only gift 1 contract, and receiving one will deduct all those 200 points. These points do not carry over from day to day. They say this is to reduce the audit timers to combat RMT, which they do. Reduce it, that is. I traded a tornado from an alt to my main for a test, and the audit time was reduced to 7 hours from 14. This, as stated by other content creators, seriously affects alliances and corps running a SRP program using lower tech characters. I just don't even know why we have these timers. EVE Online, the game that this game is almost a carbon copy of, has dealt with RMT without harshly affecting its own player base. It just seems that NetEase doesn't care enough about its players' time spent within the game when they're trying to combat these RMT agencies. Joseph put out a post about known issues concerning the Indomitable update and the changes that they've made to the game since that update. They will be working on this gifting concept further to be less of a hassle, and they ask that corps and alliances that are using lower tech level characters for logistical trading just use higher tier characters instead. And that, my friends, is just another slap in the face of the player base. They tell us that bookmarks are just in its infancy, and they'll be working on this entire mechanic, and we should get an updated version sometime possibly in February or March. They know about, and we've touched on this subject in a previous episode, about the disparages between shield and armor, and they are making strides to balance this. They keep telling us about this insurance program, but again, no new information as of late. They say they fixed the chat bug from jumping between systems, and if you're still having issues with this, to contact customer support with your device to help research this further. I know several people across several different devices having this problem. It's not fixed. They go on to say that they have refined their bot detection algorithms and have decreased botting by 90%, so they are now cracking down on RMT services instead. They know about the black screen issue and they are working on it, and I guess we'll see how they make out with that. This week, the secrets of condensed belt farming was found out. In fact, fellow content creator GicaForta dedicated an entire video about it. The basic principle is, if you see intim belts, leave them alone. When not mined, they will spawn additional condensed belts in the system 100% of the time. If you want to learn more info about the method in detail, I suggest you watch Giga's video. I'll put a link to it in the description below. We got an update to the game roadmap this week to give a loose look ahead. And Valentine's Day, it looks like we are getting a nice Valentine's Day event, probably some bright pink skins. Our first iteration of the insurance program getting introduced. In March, there's going to be new T10 ships. Not sure what they're going to be though. The second iteration of the insurance program, as well as compressed ore. This, I believe, is the functionality for players to compress their own ore in stations for traveling. Interstellar delivery, most likely the new delivery missions and more profitable missions that they were talking about. April, we get a Easter event. The first capital ships in the game, freighters, and I really hope that these are your basic haulers and not set up for specific types, specializing in those different areas. Encounter, this could be new types of encounters, could be changes to existing encounters. May is going to bring about another round of balancing to ships, rats, and everything else in the game. We get our exploration update with scanning and whatever industry decoding is. No mention of wormholes, but at least we can now scan down targets and hopefully, like in EO, scan down more profitable anomalies. The next wave of Solve updates, I believe this is the second one, with the changes to citadels and outposts with the new modules they'll be adding to the game. I have absolutely no idea what holographic reconstruction is. If anyone has an idea, put it in the comments. In June, we get the Quave Carnival, which is probably a summertime event. Dead Space, this could mean several different things, from new Dead Space pockets spawned from those Solve updates, where we get to craft the new B-type and A-type weapons, to possibly incursions. August is our 1-year anniversary event. They'll be adding also an arena. This is a great for tournaments as well as LP grinding, since they're going to be adding that new type of arena store. Now, traditionally in these type of stores, you'll be able to find most likely skins as well as blueprints for modules and other things in the game that you can't find anywhere else. The big news is more capital ships, freighters, as well as dreadnoughts. Cap skills and the Sino fields will also be added. Now, since Sinos will be coming, I'm betting on that the freighters from this patch will be jump freighters. It is now time for your Eve Echoes market report. Plex this week has settled down around 855k per. All faction debris holding strong, with the top 3 ranging from 120 million to 220 million per. Data cores this week have been on the rise, with Caldari hitting 1 million each and Galante and Mimitar at 730k. Amar for the low price of 280k per. This week we have seen the first Corporation Citadel fall, just 1 week after we've seen the first one placed. Genesis Federation's second Citadel placed has fallen under the weight of a surprise attack by F Coalition and its allies. The attacking forces were made up of F Coalition, Death Phantom, NEEC, DLT, NSFW, RNWB, and Red Sky. Some of the prominent corps of F Coalition to help in this attack and now not only have the first Citadel kill in the game under their belts, but also the first Outpost kill are dead and doomed. Local hit 1000 in this all-out surprise attack, and from what I was told lasted for around 5 hours. This battle was done without time dilation and without additional server resources diverted to the node, as stated by community manager Joseph. Pilots on both sides dealt with multiple server drops, lag, weapon cycling yet doing no damage, and a myriad list of other issues. Genesis put up a valiant defense, but ultimately, after prolonged fighting, retreated, giving up the station to its ultimate demise. I reached out to an F Coalition diplomat to ask what prompted this strike against the behemoth that is Genesis, and I was told that Genesis Federation's continuous invasion has gone too far, and states that their allies OG and Void has also suffered from their reasonless invasion. Genesis's strikes against F Coalition's outpost was the direct cause of the Citadel loss. While F Coalition was celebrating the Citadel's destruction, however, Genesis allied forces in a 130 pilot fleet hit a NEEC Citadel, claiming the second Corp Citadel kill in Echoes. This station was unmanned and undefended, as well as unknown to F Coalition, as they had no idea had it even been placed. In a NEEC statement about the loss, says the consequence of that Citadel is a result of the ignorance of communication to the leadership level from its owner. Congratulations to all sides that participated in both of these kills to secure themselves a place in the annals of EVE Echoes history. Genesis and Southern forces have been colliding all this week after the Citadel loss, trading timers back and forth. After the Citadel loss, Genesis vowed to kill all 14 enemy strongholds held between Void, OG, and F Coalition. Friday, OG and Void flash formed to defend 2 armor timers in assistance to F Coalition. I'm told both armor timers were saved at a loss of many ships, and Genesis was also able to reinforce a shield timer on their way out. The trade-off was an armor timer being taken from a Genesis Corp Citadel, as F Coalition and Death Phantom were playing offense while its allies were keeping them busy on defense. Death Phantom also performed a log-off trap with a fleet of battlecruisers and waited as the Genesis fleet got into position. They logged back in and trapped them between the forces, picking off the fleet. That Corp Citadel was forced into a structure timer, and I guess they'll be seeing them again in about 7 days. OG wants it known that its stance in all of this is that they will continue to defend their allies from the Gen incursion. However, they have no interest in joining the war offensive at this time. I reached out to Genesis on all of these matters and was met with absolute silence. As of Saturday, there was another round of fights today, as full war has been issued. A wartime speech was posted to Void members to give the state of affairs, as well as to boost morale and preparedness for the upcoming fights ahead. A Genesis QC fleet of 500 launched a failed attempt to hit the M-Tech-R F1 Citadel to place it into a structure timer, and were countered and defeated by the defending fleet of 350 OG, Void, and F1. I am told at the height of the fight, local was around 800, and this fight took around 6 hours as time dilation was implemented. A Pantheon and QC fleet were hitting a Death Phantom outpost when the rally call from the Genesis fleet was sounded for backup to hit the Citadel. The QC fleet of 100 rendezvoused with the main fleet and proceeded to M-Tech-R, while Pantheon stayed behind to destroy the Death Phantom outpost. All parties arrived with time left on the countdown, but as soon as that timer popped, it was game on. Both fleets collided on grid as level 6 time dilation kicked in. The Gen QC fleet of 100 battle cruisers and 300 cruisers versus a mixed fleet of battleships, battle cruisers, and cruisers. Time dilation lasted about an hour, while forces were whittled down on both sides to a local number of 699, and then Tie-Dye just disappeared, leaving the Genesis and QC fleet in a state of confusion and then panic. The defending forces seized on this opportunity and struck down a large portion of the Gen-fed QC fleet before they warped to the sun to regroup. They came back on grid, yet could not get the armor below that 50% mark before sounding full retreat. Golden Horde was not on either side during this battle, as they are blue with both Void and Genesis forces. As a takeaway from both sides after action reports, we can come to the conclusion that Tie-Dye does not work, and it adversely affected all weapons as they would only fire once and then just cycle. The Tie-Dye was also turned off randomly during the fight, causing massive lag spikes and disconnects. Many people are wondering, where are the Mercenary Coalition deployed currently, and is Genesis using the MC to create further instability in the East? The answer to both these questions are no. I spoke to a few sources within the MC, including Promised One, who states emphatically that members within the MC are on a well-deserved R&R. So if you see a Merc out there, they are just on their own, or they're with their Corp on some fun and mayhem. But fun is to be had both ways, as Tahini found out losing a 6.4 billion nightmare to a Wild Geese logout trap. A fleet of 11 to 12 engaged the PEW fleet, and as they were exchanging fire, locals spiked as the trap was sprung and the battleship was lost. Good fights were exchanged, as Tahini says it was a very well executed plan. Story runners out there, beware Tama, as a group of suicide gankers have declared their kamikaze ways will prevail over the bling ships that pass through the gate. Today being Sunday, there's an event going on there called Burn Tama, where this practice will be going on most of the day. Players are complaining, stating that this is exploiting the system. However, there is no exploit to be used here. Players are using cheap ships and trainers to hit these battleships, knowing full well that the gate guns will destroy them. It's about doing as much damage as they can before they are popped. So beware that this is just another reason to be on your toes when coming close to Tama. The Golden Horde held their democratic elections this week and have now installed a full democratic council. Only time will tell which form of leadership works best in Echoes, a democracy or a dictatorship. And speaking of the Golden Horde, let's talk about their sworn enemies, the North Star Federation, as they have found a friend in Boop, and Pantheon as they dropped a Corp Citadel within Fountain, where they plan to rebuild and plot their revenge against the Horde. Several Golden Horde Citadels have been hit this week by Triple V forces from the north. I have not found too much about these fights, but I will dig into it for next week's episode. And this week we have an Alliance Spotlight, and it goes out to YEET of Catch-22, part of the Aquarius Coalition. YEET Fleet is an alliance that was born in the untamable region of Syndicate. At that time, we were only a handful of impressionable corps, lured by the promise of democracy by a false prophet. Disillusioned by tyrants, we traveled to Aquarius to join the Aquarius Coalition, who are now our stalwart allies in the fight against injustice. We now sit on the council of the Catch-22 Coalition as one of the founding members, along with Novus and Tillus Alliance, who bless us with their generosity, their experience, and their wisdom. We also sit beside the FRA Alliance, now a leaner and meaner than ever before, who will baguette any who oppose them. We are a group of players in our 30s with families, jobs, and lives. The YEET culture was built around our desire to be laid back, have fun, and be able to play with an amazing group of guys that support each other. Yeeting is a way of life in Echoes, a war cry we rally behind as a release of playful immaturity in the very serious world we inhabit. Yeeting is the mantra that we can enjoy ourselves and kick ass at the game without having to abide by hardcore EO dogma. What we want is awesome content for our friends and to earn the respect of our foes on the battlefield. The sun is shining on YEET Fleet as more and more pilots adopt our culture and flock to our banners. We're looking to keep colonizing the region we live in, keep roaming, and bringing content. If you want to break free from the monotony and bullshit of the game, YEET Fleet is looking for talented pilots and corporations to join our ranks. That being said, many corporations of the Nebularium have actually left the Neb Alliance and flocked underneath the YEET banner, as well as the Stray Alliance, both of which who were positioned in the Great Wildlands. Let's take a look at the big kills of the week. This big 4 billion Phantasm was taken out by Matone, who submitted it for the Omega Combo contest. But unfortunately, the solo kills must be only one participant on the kill mail. This includes rats, but a great kill nonetheless. This 11.2 billion Balgorn from the Golden Horde was taken out by a TRA Rome. That's a very nice kill. Ignore that part. We have this 2.7 billion Ashmu kill by QXS. Again, unfortunately not eligible for the solo kill contest. We have this kill from Pantheon's Covert, where we get some battleship on battleship action, resulting in this 11.6 billion Macarial death. And now the entries for the free Omega combo. We have David6606 submitting this 1.4 billion Succubus kill, claiming the second runner-up spot. In the first runner-up spot, we have Caillou Kim on Space with his 3.7 billion Gila. And the winner of this week's prize with a staggering 16.6 billion Loot Pinata is Den David. As you can see, not only did he get what I think is the biggest solo kill in Echoes of all time, but damn, what a payday. Just look at all those blueprints that dropped. Go buy a lottery ticket, my friend, and get in touch with me on Discord to make arrangements for your prize. And that's our show this week, but please still go check out these other news outlets for your fill of Eve Echoes news. Frankie over at Eve Echoes Radio, the Echoes of New Eden podcast, and also the almost daily stories in written format on the New Eden News. Alright everyone, fly safe. Remember, we are all one vision, one purpose, one front.